Hello, and welcome to the Wirecast, the video podcast of Wiregrass, Georgia Technical College. Welcome back to the Wirecast. I'm your host, Michael Williams. I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Lee Renfroe. Lee, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, my name's Lee Renfroe. I'm the owner of GoFar. It's a training company. We teach telecommunications and fiber optics pretty much all over the United States. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm ready to roll.
Well, you've been teaching today for Wiregrass.
Yeah, right? I have, yeah.
So how's that class going?
It's going really good. I'm down at one of the other campuses teaching the economic development class. I was a little scared coming in the first thing when one of the students told me he was blind, but we were able to work through that. He has some special glasses that I've never seen before, and we've been rocking and rolling. He's actually been a really great student.
Well, you are known far and wide all over the country for fiber optics training, for sure.
Well, maybe other things we won't talk about here, but yeah, fiber's good. We'll stick with that.
Well, you and I were instructors together at the same time at Wiregrass, Georgia Tech many years ago.
Yep.
What years would you think? I mean, I know you might not know exactly.
I was employed with Wiregrass from 2008 to probably like 13. Yeah. 2008 to 13. Yeah.
That was like the heyday. We're proud of that program even today.
Yeah.
But gosh, it was you, Donald During, Scott Howell, Scott Morris.
Yeah, we had three to four instructors, and it was just round robin. I mean, we all had our specialties that we taught in, and we had students coming. It was a bad time economically, but for the school, it was a really good time because we just had a huge influx of students, and I keep up with a lot of those students, even the first ones that were in my first class. A lot of them I see today, and they're still working, so that's good. That makes me happy. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we keep up with them too, because whenever we need an instructor, we pretty much have to find somebody y'all taught.
That's right.
I don't think people understand how complicated that program was. Like you said, you guys all had specialties.
Yeah.
To find somebody who can teach every bit of it
that's tough.
is really difficult.
It's hard to be a master of every aspect of it. You kind of have to know a little bit of it all. And then you kind of find your way of what you like to do and what you like to specialize in. So mine happens to have been fiber optics at this point. You know, I've had several layers of training and things like that, but I've gravitated to that here recently. So.
Well, we were talking about before this started that you and I actually know each other from before then. I was your instructor at ABAC in English, one of the first classes I ever taught, English 1102.
Yeah, yep.
And or it was 1101, I think.
I think it was 1101. Yeah. So where that came about is there used to be a bridge program. I call it maybe like a co-op program or a bridge program with Wiregrass and ABAC. So once you got your diploma, you could transfer all that to ABAC and get an applied science degree, associate's applied science degree. So that's what I did. While I was working, I would go at night, and I went to ABAC, and you were there as my English instructor. And so that was probably in 2003, 2004 time frame. So yeah, we've known each other, I guess, for over 20 years now. So
it was sort of just like 2 years later. I went to Wiregrass. And you and I were instructors together.
That's right. Yeah, it didn't seem like that.
I was
long.
shocked to see you there.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of think on the way over here that Wiregrass has been a part of my life. I started as a student in Wiregrass in '97. I was in high school, and I started taking the night program at Telecom because I knew that I didn't really want to go to traditional college. My dad wanted me to, but I was almost just done with school. I was kind of tired of it. And so I knew I wanted to get a skill and go to work. So I went ahead and got in at night and then started early. And so when I finished that in 98-ish, I went to work, and I waited a couple of years and went back to ABAC. So I've been involved with Wiregrass as a student, as an instructor, and now with the economic development department. So I've kind of seen a lot of things change and a lot of growth, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. It's helped grow my career in a lot of different ways. So,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
you ran GoFro Communications for many years.
Yeah,
And
I did that for about the past 10 years or so. I started that company just out of really, it's kind of hard to say, but I was really just fed up with the way other people were doing things that I was trying to work for, and I wanted to do things the way I wanted to do it. And so I started the company, really a customer service based company that we really tie in with the customer. We give them instant access to people and provide a good level of service. And we grew really quick, really fast. I was able to do that for 10 years. But even in that same period of time, I was doing training. I was doing training for third-party companies across the country. I'd probably every 3 months, I'd go teach a fiber class or something. Here in the past couple of years, I increased that a lot, and I started my training company, GoFar, and it was kind of taken off from there. So I usually teach about once or twice a month somewhere, whether it's in Georgia. I've got some cool places we can talk about that my career has taken me in the past few years as far as teaching goes. But I usually about once or twice a month I'll go somewhere and teach.
well, that training is in high demand.
Yeah.
When I became vice president of economic development, you were one of the first people I called
Yeah.
because I knew I wanted to do certified fiber optic technician.
Yeah.
I didn't know a ton about the telecommunications program. Now, I learned a lot about it when I was dean
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
It's the most complicated one I've ever seen in my life if you look at the curriculum. But I I was working with FAA
Yep.
because I didn't want us to lose our accreditation. We had a little time period there where we didn't
Yeah.
offer any certifications, and so it was so helpful to get you to come on and offer that through economic development. It preserved our relationship with FOA, and
Yeah.
now we got a certified instructor
That's
on board,
right. Yeah.
and all of that. But well, you probably done maybe 5 classes for us.
I think so. We've averaged one or two a year. We've had a couple cancel out, but I'd say one a year for the past at least 3 or 4 years because I can tell going down to Adel, it's been about 3 or 4 years.
That was kind of what we wanted was let's brand that campus as a,
Yeah.
and it's right there by I-75.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, like you said, we'll throw a class out there and not get anybody, and the next one somebody will fly from California.
Exactly. Yeah.
And at their own expense or
Yeah.
their company's expense.
That's right. Yeah. It's pretty fun to watch where people come from to get the training. So this past year, I kind of had a highlight year with training. It was kind of odd. I went to Hawaii in April. Right. I went to Puerto Rico in I think August or September, and I went to Alaska in October. So who would have thought, in 1 year span or in that 1 year that I would hit 3 places that were on my bucket list of places that that I didn't have to pay for myself to go, right?
That's
I
right.
mean, I got to go. I may not have made a lot of money because I spent it while I was there, but I got to go to these places and visit these wonderful places. And I mean, I'm from Fitzgerald, Georgia. I'm not supposed to go to Hawaii, right? I mean, it's not in my cards to have the availability to go places like this. And so the whole career coming full circle, starting, at Wiregrass and going through that 1 year program there has just developed into all kind of things that I really can't, just blessed, I guess, just to say it's just been fun, So I'm about 27 or 28 years into my career, and I've got to do a lot of things. So.
Well, why don't you try to tell our audience a little bit about what the industry entails? What is fiber optic splicing, and why is it important? Where do you see the telecom industry going? Because it's changing with all the Wi-Fi.
It changes every couple of years. I mean, it's crazy. So, encompassing telecommunications as a whole, as the program brings out, you cover voice over IP. You have the security aspect of it, which is alarm systems, access control, badge access, security cameras. Then you get into structured cabling, which is all your data cabling, and then with the fiber optics kind of ties into that. But fiber optics touches all of those platforms as well. So what's growing, and what I see is what I'm teaching as a part of with another company in Dallas now is data center. The data center world is just exploding. I mean, you got a huge announcement even yesterday where Facebook is partnered with Corning. Corning is a glass company that makes fiber optics, where they're going to build 150 data centers over the next 3 years in the United States. That is just job security for people that are in the industry to gravitate to these places and want to work it. And what happens is you get on these jobs and you're there during the construction period, and then they a lot of times they'll hire those people because they already know the ins and outs of that building and that facility, so they'll give them jobs there. So the data center world is growing. The wireless world, cellular, cell towers, fiber to the home is just off the charts right now with opportunities, especially in Georgia with the rural broadband
initiative.
Yeah, all that stuff is that's what's growing. And what's kind of scary but good about it too is it'll all change in 10 years. The data centers that are in place now, they'll be obsolete. All that's got to disappear. New technology's got to come in. Fiber to the home's almost the same way.
Everybody's going to have Starlink at some point.
Exactly. It'll be a combination of some sort of wireless, Starlink, and fiber. But even like what I'm saying is the fiber, the way they make fiber is going to be different. And so all that technology, they're talking about like multi-core fibers and hollow core fiber, which that means there's no glass. We're just talking about the speed of light shooting through a tube, carrying information. Mm-hmm. All that stuff is where we're going with the industry, and it's going to change. And AI, obviously, is going to make a huge difference in the way we do business. That's in the data center side, but it's really unexplainable, but it's fun to think about.
If you were talking to a young person and trying to convince them to go into that field, what would you say?
Oh, man, I would say start as soon as you can, really. I mean, as soon as you're 18, get out there and get your feet wet, get some sort of experience, and you will find that you have avenues to do fiber, to do security, to do structured cable. You'll find your specialty of what you want to do with your hands. If you love working with your hands, this is the industry to be in. Mine are kind of beat up, and I probably got a little tendonitis, got a little pain here and there from turning screwdrivers, but it's been well worth it, So it's to travel. You're going to get to see places. You're going to get to go places that you never thought you would go. I would never think that my company would contract a teaching job in Hawaii, and I get to take my daughter over there with me. We spend 14 days, there and have a blast and get to work at the same time. That's incredible to think about that. So I would say that every opportunity in the telecom field is wide open right now, and you just need to find a place and jump in and start.
What about the certification that you've been teaching this week for us? Can you tell what certified fiber optic technician is and how long the class is?
So the CFOT is what we call it. Certified Fiber Optic Technician is through an organization called the FOA, the Fiber Optic Association. They were started in 1995 to produce techniques and installation practices strictly for technicians, so that across the board and across the country and across the globe that we all do things a certain way, and they're all done to a certain standard. And so this particular class, I call it entry-level class, and it's made for if you don't know anything about fiber, you can walk into this class, and at the end of the week, you'll have a great understanding through the theory, but also through the hands-on applications. It's usually a 4 to 5 day class, and that consists of usually 1 day of lecture and going over PowerPoints and discussing all the different aspects of fiber, the types of fiber and all that. And then we get into the hands-on where we learn how to terminate fiber, splice fiber, troubleshoot, and test. So we do all that in 4 or 5 days. It is the first certification of many that you can get. There's others that you can stack on top of it, like fiber to the home, outside plant, testing, optical LAN, wireless. So there's data center. There's a lot of them, and the FOA is not the only organization that does it. There are several of them that do it. I just like their curriculum, and it allows us to basically to customize it to regions or to companies as we see fit. Because somebody may come to us and they want something specific. Train me on this, and we can integrate that into the FOA and get them certified. There's probably over 100,000 certified technicians through that organization since 1995.
When I had a guy call one day asking about it, and he found out about us exclusively on the FOA website. He was from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Oh,
You
really?
know?
Yeah, there's a link on there where you can go find regionally. You can pick the state, or
Mhm.
you can pick, but it lists every single FOA school that's out there. And there's probably some that are inactive, and there's probably some that are like me,
Mhm.
independents that don't teach as many classes. But like through Wiregrass, y'all probably teach one every quarter or every semester. You probably have
Sure.
one rolling through,
Mhm.
and there's probably a lot of other, even high schools now that are doing that as part of their, training for workforce development. A lot of high schools are doing it, and so there's some companies that train their own employees, so they may be an FOA school also. So they
That's
train
right.
train internally. So that's pretty common too.
Yeah, and GoFro was kind of like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We I would hold classes
Mhm.
and get our guys trained up, certified too, or I'd just bring them to one of my classes out of town, one at a time, and let them sit through the class.
Well, I enjoy following your social
Oh
media.
Lord,
I'm kind of a lurker, but you're a foodie, you're a coffee
yeah,
enthusiast,
yeah.
and increasingly a fitness
I,
influencer.
well, I'm not going to say an influencer, but priorities change over time, right? I used to be a big hunter. I used to hunt and fish, loved outdoors. When my daughter was born, that kind of I decided to kind of pause that, because I felt like being a dad. I really, introduced her to some of that, but let her kind of pick the things that she likes to do. So we go to Disney a lot. All right, nobody else may like that, but we go there a good bit. Her, and my wife, and so I've learned to be a Disney dad. But yeah, I've really started enjoying challenging myself, for running or working out, and I like to do things that nobody else thinks they want to do or they can do. So earlier this week, it was what 24 degrees one morning,
19, yeah, I
something
saw it.
like that.
And then look, I've been doing some push-ups,
Yeah,
and
that's
for the
good.
last 8 months, and I was feeling really good about myself until I saw that, and I was like,
Yeah.
Lee Renfroe woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and ran in 19-degree
I
weather.
did. I did a 5K that morning. That's kind of my baseline now. Is if I go running, that's 3.1 miles. It's not too far. Usually 30, 31, 32 minutes. I did one during lunch today. They went to eat, and I ran down that road and all the way to into town and came back, and then I ate my lunch at the school. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that because it really it puts your mindset to where, all right, I'm tired, but I'm going to finish this and I'm going to do this, and that translates into all aspects of your life. If you can train your brain to overcome what your body's trying to stop you from doing, your brain's you're going to do something different. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to do it because if you can't face those hard things in life, as far as like exercise or eating properly, then you can't face them when they come at you, in the real world. So you
That's
got to know
right.
how to react. So I've learned that all it all starts with where it started for me was with the food. I love food. I love to eat. I love to cook. A lot of sweets and a lot of other things that I like to cook that may not be so healthy, but I've learned to kind of customize that and limit that and do other things and with the food and then the exercise and running, and I feel probably 20 years younger than I ever have felt in the past 15 years or more. So there's a certain part in the fiber world where we talk about transmitters and how the light transmits down the glass and that kind of stuff. And my correlation to that is rifles and shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
And usually my first thing is when we get to that section, I'll say, how many people hunt in here? And then everybody's head pops up,
We're going to talk about something I want to talk
yeah,
about.
I'm like, okay, well, what do you like to hunt? And I go dove hunting or, I turkey hunting, and I'm like, great, let's get to that. And so that always brings common ground because everywhere they may not hunt exactly, but there's usually one or two gun enthusiasts.
They're
So
familiar with a firearm more than they
exactly,
are a tiny laser traveling
yeah.
through a glass tube.
So to correlate that and say, all right, well, a shotgun can have a wide pattern, and it also can have a tight pattern. This is the same thing that we're doing in the fiber world. And they're like, oh, okay. So I've tried to bring some South Georgia roots in the training, and I kind of always play it off where I'm from South Georgia. I've got to keep this simple. I've got to keep this on a level that I can understand. So I'm going to present that same level to y'all because I don't want it to seem overly complicated when they come into class. I want it to be fun, and I want them to enjoy it and bring it just down to earth where everybody can understand it. And that's kind of my goal when I teach is to make everyone feel real comfortable and real welcome. That's the ultimate goal.
Well, I think you've succeeded at it. That's a great metaphor,
Yeah,
you know, to get that point across.
Yeah. So I noticed too. You got a daughter that plays tennis, right?
Right.
My daughter, she's been playing tennis 4 or 5 years, and
All three of mine do.
Oh, really? They do? Yeah. So I think they just started this week with their practice at the high school. She'll be a junior, and so hopefully she'll be one of the singles players. She was last year, so hopefully she can grab one of those. But that's fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really regret not having learned it myself at a young age. I played football in high school, and like I haven't touched a football in 20 years.
Yeah.
But that's something that, as an adult, you can get a lot of pleasure out of if you have a little experience.
Well, that's what me and my wife said. We're like, we should have played this when we were kids or when we were younger. But when I looked at tennis, I was like, that's not me. I don't want to do that. I thought it was preppy, or something like that. And I definitely wasn't preppy. And I probably wasn't even in shape enough to play tennis.
That's right. I didn't realize how.
Because, you really got to be on it to be out there. And that's one of the things, about kind of the health kick is trying to prove something not really prove something, but to give my daughter something to say, okay, I can see a difference in what my dad's doing, and he's trying, and I want to be able to try hard too. If I see him working hard, I'm thinking maybe she'll want to work hard in the things that she's doing. If she sees success, then she'll be successful. I think that's a generational thing too. And like I mentioned before, keeping up with students that were in your classes, I've got a couple, man, that are just, I would consider success stories. They not only have changed their life, but generational. Their kids are now going to be able to go to college. Those kids are probably going to be able to go to college because they're not living in, the situations that they were living at in Fitzgerald. They got an education, they networked correctly, they went to conferences, they got jobs, they got promotions, and they're making excellent money. And that in turn, that really changes the direction of what your family can do and how you can provide for your family. So if there's anybody out there that's needing that change and they're needing that, I mean, telecom can do that. There's other industries that can do that too, and there's other programs to do it. I can only speak to the telecom one. It can change your life if you get in and get involved and just do what you're supposed to do and work hard. That every opportunity is out there, and I've got several success stories that I usually bring up when I talk to people about like that. So it's just the open market really, and you can create your own persona. You can with social media and the way things you picture people, they're posting the way they're doing fiber splicing all day long. Somebody's going to see that.
Yeah.
Like I want that guy to do my work right there, and that's how you get business. And that's how you grow yourself. So.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers tonight?
Oh man, I don't know. I could talk forever about just about anything. Tennis or fiber or telecom.
We might have to have another one.
Deer
and tennis.
Yeah, that's right. But
barbecue.
I mean, like I said, Wiregrass is. I'm very proud that I'm from Fitzgerald and that Wiregrass is there. It's always been a staple in our community. I dare to say I'd like to know the percentage of people in Fitzgerald over time that have attended there and used that as their platform, as their starting point, launching point. I'm one of them. I know there's a lot of other ones out there, and Wiregrass will always hold a special place to me just because of being a student and instructor, and then working with y'all in economic development. It's helped me develop not only as a business person but personally, spiritually, and just everything that I think has stemmed from that and has grown from that. So nothing but thanks to the organization or to the Wiregrass as a whole for being there, and for being there when I got out of high school and being there when I needed a job, and now. So I don't have anything but good things to say, and I hope the relationship continues on. I want to see people grow. I want to see the telecom program grow. I want to see another Skills USA national champion come out of there.
That's right.
We're going to have one, so that's what we want to see. We want to see people be successful. I love to see people be successful. There's somebody that changes careers or starts a company, and you just see them kind of blow up. I love to see those stories. So we want more of those.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed having you.